Be ready. Start. From the rival contentions, the only question for consideration before this court is that whether the complaint without signature of the complainant under section 138 of the Act is maintainable when such complaint is verified by the complainant and the process is issued by the magistrate after verification. Keeping the above definition in mind, let us see the scheme of the statute and the legislative intent in bringing the Act. The Act was amended by Banking, Public Financial Institutions and Negotiable Instruments Laws Amendment Act 1988, wherein new chapter 17 was incorporated for penalties in case of dishonor of checks due to insufficiency of funds in the account of the drawer of the check. These provisions were incorporated in order to encourage the culture of use of checks and enhancing the credibility of the instrument. The insertion of the new chapter and amendments in the Act are aimed at early disposal of cases relating to dishonor of checks, enhancing punishment for offenders, introducing electronic image of a truncated check and a check in the electronic form, as well as exempting an official nominee's director from prosecution under the Act. As pointed out, the controversy in our case concentrates on construction of section 142A of the Act and in particular phrase a complaint in writing employed therein. It provides that notwithstanding anything contained in the code, no court shall take cognizance of any offense punishable under section 138 of the Act except upon a complaint in writing made by the payee or, as the case may be, the holder in due course of the check. The important question in the instant case is what is meant by complaint in writing, whether complaint should be in writing simpliciter or complaint being in writing requires signature below such writing. In this view of the matter, the power of judicial magistrate of first class is limited in the matter of imposing a sentence of fine of rupees 5,000 is not correct in view of the non obstante clause contained in section 142 of the Act. After hearing both the parties, this court held that section 138 of the Act provides punishment as imprisonment for a term which may extend to 1 year or fine which may extend to twice the amount of check or with both. Section 29(2) of the code contains limitation for a magistrate of first class in the matter of imposing fine as a sentence or as part of sentence. It is clear that the aforesaid non obstante expression is intended to operate only in respect of three aspects and nothing more. The first is this: under the code, a magistrate can take cognizance of an offense either upon receiving a complaint or upon a police report or upon receiving information from any person or upon his own knowledge except in the cases differently indicated in chapter 14 of the code. But section 142 of the NI Act says that insofar as the offense under section 138 is concerned, no court shall take cognizance except upon a complaint made by the payee or the holder in due course of the check. The second is this. Under the code, a complaint could be made at any time subject to the provisions of chapter 36. But so far as the offense under section 138 of the NI Act is concerned, such complaint shall be made within 1 month of the cause of action. The third is this. Under Article 511 of the first schedule of the Code, if the offence is punishable with imprisonment for less than 3 years or with fine only under any enactment other than the Indian Penal Code, such offence can be tried by any magistrate. Normally, Section 138 of the NI Act, which is punishable with a maximum sentence of imprisonment for 1 year, would have fallen within the scope of the said article. But Section 142 of the NI Act says that for the offence under Section 138, no court inferior to that of a metropolitan magistrate or judicial magistrate of the first class shall try the said offence. Thus, the non obstante limb provided in section 142 of the NI Act is not intended to expand the powers of a magistrate of the first class beyond what is fixed in chapter 3 of the code. Section 29, which falls within chapter 3 of the code, contains a limit for a magistrate of the first class. Thank you.